paleo the first half of the class or so. I'm going to turn it over to him and he can talk about what he has to offer. Hey, can you guys just turn that all the way off for me, please? Thank you. Who here has tried paleo or is eating paleo? All right, so a couple people. That's good. That's a start. It's pretty much like understood as like the diet of CrossFit. You know, when you tell people you're a CrossFitter, they're probably like, "Do you do that crazy paleo diet?" You guys probably all heard that plenty of times. I think the paleo diet is a good way to eat. I like it for a lot of reasons. Some of the big ones, it's a healthy way to eat because it emphasizes eating food that's real. So, like something it's as close to its natural state as possible, and that's where you're going to get the most nutrition. It's not stuff that's loaded with ingredients that you can't pronounce, stuff that sounds like chemicals. That stuff's not good for you. You don't want to put that in your body. So it's real, it's non-processed. Paleo, by its nature, is high in protein, which is why it works really well for CrossFitters, because you guys are in here constantly abusing your body day in, day out, abusing it in a good way, day in, day out. If you're not getting protein, you're not recovering, you're not building muscle, you're not gonna be successful as you could be in the gym. It's also good because paleo diet emphasizes getting healthy fats. So fat, I know in America, fat is a bad word. It's like, stay away from it at all costs. That's what you've been told since you were a kid. It's been ingrained in you. It's everywhere. But the fact of the matter is that if you didn't eat fat, you would die. Your body absolutely needs it. There are fats that are absolutely essential to your survival and to your health. It's good because it's low carb, it's low sugar, and that's a big one, especially when it comes to this body transformation challenge. The best way to transform your body, one of the easiest ways right away, is to really cut back on the sugar and cut out a lot of the carbs. And I also like the paleo diet because the foods in the paleo diet are not highly inflammatory. So they're easy on your body, and we'll get into that a little bit more. Something like grains, you guys are probably you're like, paleo, that's crazy, you don't eat bread, bread's healthy, it's good for you. Well, it causes inflammation in your body, and that's one of the reasons we want to avoid it. More on that down the road. So the first thing, talking about carbs. Paleo diet is, I would say, in general, low carb diet, but we don't want to say no carbs. Some carbs are good, especially the way you guys work out hard in here. You're going to need some carbs. I wouldn't want you to just cut them out completely. You'll feel it if you do. You won't feel well. Your body, when you're taking in nutrients, so we have carbs, fat, and protein. Those are the big three. Carbs are the easiest one for your body to use. So if your body has a choice between carbs and fat, it's going to burn carbs. It's easier for it to burn carbs. So by restricting those carbs a little bit, your body now has to go to burning fat. When we eat a carbohydrate, it has an effect on our insulin levels and on our blood sugar. So I like to use a little graph. We use a couple graphs up here tonight. So you think about what the average American eats for breakfast, if they even eat breakfast. A lot of people don't eat breakfast. And that is, you guys hear me say this all the time. You come to me like, oh my gosh, my workout was horrible tonight. What's the first thing I always ask you guys? Do you eat breakfast? And usually the answer is no. And I just know it. I can tell 5 minutes into your workout if you didn't eat breakfast. I know. So, average American probably, if they do eat breakfast, it's probably something like a bagel. Well, you guys that like work in offices, you show up to work and it's like, hey, we got healthy breakfast. It's bagels. Well, what is a bagel? It's a giant piece of carbs, basically, right? It's just carbs. Maybe there's a little bit of protein in there, but it's not really usable protein. It's not really high quality protein like animal protein is. So it's a big chunk of carbs. And talking about carbs and sugar, I want you to look at that like it's basically synonymous. Carbs equals sugar, sugar equals carbs, same thing. You're like, well, this has no sugar in it. Well, it's got 30 grams of carbs, maybe no sugar, but carbs are turned into sugar in your body. So I want you to look at them the same. So that bagel is just a big piece of sugar. Look at it like that. So you eat that, you wake up in the morning, you know that feeling like, oh, I don't want to get out of bed, I feel like crap. and then you feel like crap until you eat breakfast. You guys all know that?
Mm-hmm.
I do. I don't start my day without breakfast. Like, won't do it. So there's that bagel, and that bagel is going to have right away. It's going to cause a spike in insulin. It's going to cause your blood sugar to go up, and you'll feel better. And then you're like, oh, I'm ready to start my day. Until it wears off very quickly, and then now you crash again. So then it's like, I don't know what, maybe a donut. People have like donut break halfway through the morning or something, or like you need that mid-morning snack. So then it's like more carbs. And then you get that spike again. You feel better for a little while, and then you crash. And it's up and down, especially like maybe here's lunch, and then this is like 2 o'clock when you're falling asleep at your desk. So you see a pattern up and down, kind of like a drug addict, maybe. So think about food like it's a drug. It's really that powerful in your body, especially when you're talking about carbs, because you do get addicted to that. You guys think about how you felt after maybe going home for a week or being with your family for a week at Christmas. Like, oh, I'll just have a couple of these M&Ms. I'm just going to have like a few of these cookies. I'll just drink this soda. And then pretty soon, like, you feel you need it. If you don't get it, you like get the shakes. That's your body going through withdrawal. Carbs are a drug. So, it can cause, it's a challenge when you first switch to paleo and you start cutting out some of these carbs because your body's craving them. It's used to getting them, it wants them, and it's got to figure out how to function without them or without so many. So when we see, we've got peaks and troughs. Troughs, probably going to feel like maybe a little lightheaded, maybe a little like angry. I know when I'm hungry, if I haven't eaten in a while, you don't want to be around me. I'm generally pretty friendly. You guys know I'm pretty friendly. Not when I'm hungry. If you catch me one day and I'm not very friendly, just be like, oh, keep me this lunch or something. So if we draw a line through this, like this is kind of our baseline, this here, all these areas above this line, you can think about as storage mode. You have all these carbs coming in, and you've peaked here, maybe more than what you need, and your body's going to store. So we want to stay away from that. Now, talking about the glycemic index. Does anybody know? You guys know about the glycemic index? So something that is a high glycemic index is something that is going to have a greater, faster effect on your blood sugar than something that's low glycemic index. My favorite one, this is my go-to, is the banana. Because Americans, we're like, oh, it grew on a tree, it's healthy. Banana, it's good for you. Yes and no. So bananas, yeah, they have some potassium, they have some good stuff in them, but a banana is very high on the glycemic index, which means it's going to have a strong effect on your blood sugar, on your insulin. So those are generally foods we want to stay away from. Orange juice is another one. Oh yeah, you know, we feed it to our kids. It's healthy. It's orange juice. Look at an orange juice. Look at a soda. How is the label different? Orange juice has some vitamin C. Okay, so you just gave your kid soda with vitamin C, basically. I'm not saying don't ever eat bananas or don't ever drink orange juice, but just be aware of the effect that it's going to have on you when you put something really sugary like that in your body. Something that's maybe a little more lower glycemic index, maybe like an apple. Because if you just look at a banana compared to an apple has a tougher skin. It's a little bit harder for your body to break it down. So it's not going to give you quite as much of an effect here. So when we're eating paleo, the carbs that we do get, we want to try and keep them low glycemic index, stuff that's not going to make our blood sugar